We all good?
Says it's streaming.
Oh, here we go.
Alright. Probably,
We all good?
Yep, I'll set your
says it's
information.
Streaming. Isn't gonna play anyway.
Oh,
Just gotta
here we
turn
go.
up the volume here. Alright. Probably Begone Thought and Splash.
I'm pretty sure we're live.
And we are live, and, we
Have no one watching it. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
All right.
Good. So what are we starting with?
Welcome to the Hallow Point Studios, very first podcast, part of the weekly late night podcast. Whether you're here live right now or posting video, we thank you heavily for coming to see some of the most stupid content on planet Earth that can't be provided by barely functioning human beings.
Exactly. If you think this is getting any better, then you're in for a storm.
Alright, so we're going to be playing some Balloon Tower Defense in the background. If you don't like it, then there's a garbage can in hell just for you. So we're going to complete private match. Oh boy, someone might be able to stream snipe our password. What will we do?
Terrible things.
Alright, should we go hardcore harsh s'mores, or should we go easy peasy, or...
Honestly, I'm not too, iffy on it.
Alright, well,
I know last time when we decided to do a hardcore map, it completely destroyed us. So if that shows our level of skill, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, this is most likely either going to go way too easy or absolutely horrible. The skill gap in this game's not that good. Alright, we'll do easy because we're a bunch of chumps. Okay, so the game password is boom. You better hurry up. We got stream snipers coming in, and we got a second viewer. That's great. People are actually coming in.
Wow.
Talking to chatty waddy. You better type in boom fast, man.
That person's gonna get us.
I'm already connecting, so...
If the viewership gets too strong, I might have to turn my display off before then, but that's perfectly fine. Alright,
Alright.
So, we seem to have two entrances here. We got one at the top left and one at the bottom. Alright, so
I'm just gonna be cheap and put down a sniper, because why not?
Alright, so we have had the breaking news that in the EU, Article 13 has passed, and I'm kind of mixed on the whole situation, because at the same time, I feel bad for anyone out there who basically job as a content creator has become absolutely impossible because the content ID or just the type of content they make. But at the same time, this is going to clear the field for new content creators to come in, and there's always a good and a bad side, but...
I mean, yeah, it sucks for the old ones, but it also sucks for, meme communities as well, because for the most part of those, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Usually everybody enjoys it.
Mm-hmm. So, it's like, it's just the vicious cycle of, living out in life, but the thing that kind of gets me is, when people are saying, it's affecting the whole world. No, it's just affecting everyone in EU. Stop trying to make me care. I care, but stop trying to get me to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a portable lake because we're gonna need one. Okay, I'll plop it down in the middle here.
Usually, yeah.
And I don't know.
I think I'm gonna go.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna plop down a monkey sub off to the left here, but I don't really know because, did you hear about remember the whole, water with the airport doohickey security? Everyone memed for a bit.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
I was really tempted to make a skin of that in one of my videos, but I've been really afraid to go towards political stuff.
I can talk about anything, so.
It was really funny because when I made Nutcase, which was a video on my main channel, it had a little obvious little fun political joke. It involved having Trump, and it was in a Minecraft server. Fun fact, the Minecraft version was in beta. It was a server that still is in beta to this day, and I thought it would be fun to try out the version, because I never grew up with that. I always grew up on 360 back when I was a peasant. But
aren't you still a peasant?
Oh, be quiet, you. But I made this joke, and basically, when I put Ashley, my sister, into one of my videos, it has to get clarified by my mom because she's in charge of what she's allowed to be in and whatnot. But I cleared out the clip she was in, like, where she partook. It was okay. But because I had that clip in the video, she threatened me to kick me out of the house.
Oof.
I'm not even joking. We had an argument all the way to church. How I was...
Of all the things to threaten, just that is...
And I'm like, I'm in such a state of disbelief. I'm like, you're joking, right? She was dead serious. Like,
ooh.
And I can't tell you how much that, like, the amount of despair I felt. Like, this is how much people can't take any sort of joke, especially when it's political. I, for one, love political jokes. I don't have any political beliefs. I'm what you call independent. I just don't care about it. But
yeah, for...
We're in a live stream right now.
Oh! I heard that by any chance.
One person who decided to chill in and watch, it's a podcast, so they're most likely just playing us in the background.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, people will afterwards probably listen to this podcast and just listen to you say you gotta take a good old poop.
Do you have to take a poop?
No, I do not gotta take a good old poop.
There is 4 cans of root beer on your desk. And there is empty bags of chips and McDonald's on your couch. And chicken nuggets.
This is why when Daniel asked me, should we use a face cam, I said no. Okay, we're gonna ask
You are never moving out of this house, I swear.
No, I will in a year.
Oh my lord. Okay.
Hey, out of here, Padinsky.
Welcome to our channel.
That was pretty good, to be honest. But, yeah, it's just... I know you never got to grow up with, like, a 360 or something like that, but let me tell you, the online communities in those games were... They were something else.
No, the best thing that we had was a GameCube.
Uh-huh. Ooh, I had the GameCube when I was, like, 5, 4. It was my uncle's. Play freaking Mario Kart Double Dash on it all the time.
Super Monkey Ball actually was the game that we went with. That was a good just rivalry game.
Right.
Not the kind of game that's like going to murder friendships, but quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I played it at my cousin's, and I didn't think it was nothing engaging game that I would play a lot, but it was fun when I played it.
Yeah.
One game.
The Wii version was terrible, but
like, don't get me started on shovelware in the Wii. Like, oh my goodness gracious, like, so much garbage movie games on that platform. It was a goldmine for it, if we're gonna be honest. It was a pure family console. So when you got all those things going for it, doesn't take enough for publishers to be like, oh, we can grind the frick out of this.
Right.
Our snipers can take out lead balloons, right? Yep. Okay, so we're good on that. Camo balloons, however... Oh, nice with the...
Plus, I got the balloon or corrosive glue on my gunner, so I have them set to strong.
But for all those of you who's back wherever you are in this good green American little world we all live in, that's lies. But we live in the state of Missouri, and we actually have an in-game developer, people who make games, in state. And I was actually thinking, ooh, I'll check him out. Maybe I'll go through the steps of maybe hiring for a position there. Back when I was like younger and whatnot. Did you ever hear about the atrocity of the Hell's Kitchen game on Wii? Yeah, they made that.
Oh no, I did not, but I can imagine.
I yeeted out of that faster than any idea I had in all of it.
You're like, on second thought, I prefer to hold on to my pride.
I lost my pride when I started making with my starter content on YouTube. We don't talk about
that. When you launched your channel with a Minecraft video.
Muffin never saw that content because I took it all down, but I uploaded the archive to the Discord channel, and he actually went in and watched the majority of it and commented on it.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Muffin.
Muffin, great kid.
That anybody would actually force themselves to go through that. That's some dedication. Actually, no, for first time video, it was pretty good quality. I enjoyed it.
That's what people told me, for first time, people haven't seen anything that good, but it wasn't good. It was like making your first movie, and it didn't come out as bad as The Room, but it was as bad as the B movie. I mean, it's not as bad.
But I mean, it's getting there.
I just thought I've always wanted to make content as a child. Who doesn't? One in every 5 children. It's a high demographic. A lot of kids want to be a YouTuber. And I necessarily didn't do it in hope that I would ever get anything from it. It's just I have a problem of just not being able to not work.
I get that.
When I quit my program in college a week ago, I'm driving myself crazy. I had to come up with I've been trying to think of a new video to shove out, not really rush on, but just work on, but my mind process needs a little bit of a break when I upload, so haven't been really able to work on anything. And anyone who can just be lazy all day, I envy you. I don't know
anybody
anymore.
like that.
Well,
You're right, it's me.
Okay, I'm not gonna go a monkey farm strat. I'm gonna go Gatling.
Alright.
Which means this is highly
works for me.
Dependent on my multitasking.
I'm going with Destroyer first. And then probably going to work on my glue gunner.
I'll see about upgrading that sub a bit there. I'm gonna make a firing line of monkey snipers. Have you ever
Speaking of...
Oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of fire, we might want to get some more explosive, because we're taking out leads, but, we may need something.
Not at a rate that would be safe. Let me see about putting a cannon right here, upgrading its range so it can get that other lane just fine.
I'm just gonna put a
just get a basic
magic dude right there. There we go. Anyways, what were you saying?
You ever heard of the game SCP Secret Laboratory? It's a multiplayer SCP game.
Actually, no. Although, to be fair, I've only recently gotten into SCP, so...
didn't know that.
Like, I've heard you guys talk about it before, but I was just like, yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. It's got a whole bunch of more mythical creatures in it.
Well, I wouldn't say
And
mythical
that's all
creatures.
right, but that's all that I knew of it at that moment.
It's an
Was
absolute
that to me it sounded like mythical creatures.
Right. It's an absolute cluster truck of just random things any sane person would never think of.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like you got most people shy away from how they found the SCP Foundation because 90% of it was either from PewDiePie or Markiplier's playthrough on one of the fan games. But I own it. I watched PewDiePie play it, and I didn't really pick up on it then. But around I was 16, I just got fascinated because I found out it was a wiki. And there was this multiplayer game that was being made, and basically everyone has a role. So you either D-class, which are the guinea pigs. They are the people they test on. Usually it's prisoners that are on death row and whatnot. Wipe the memories, all lovely stuff. Then you got scientist, and blah blah blah. Basically, you just gotta escape and not get eaten by SCPs. And the game is just a huge meme fest. And I was playing one game, and there was this kid who we were part of the security team. And he's like, alright guys, we need to form a firing line, and would not stop saying that. And we're just listening to him kind of say it, but no one's really,
no one's doing anything that he's, like, mentioning.
Yeah, like,
right.
And not only that, we're not really acknowledging that he won't stop saying firing line. So I eventually get fed up with it, and I'm like, alright guys, firing line, firing line, firing line. And everyone starts picking up on it. We're in an elevator while doing this. And everyone's like, we're all basically saying at the same time, firing line, firing line. A week later, I can't find a server that isn't saying that.
Beautiful.
It was great. Like, oh, goodness gracious. We are like, okay. Let me get a super monkey. That should, put down to rest our problems a bit here.
I got Bloom Jitsu on my, ninja.
When balloons go backwards, my butt clenches because I think they're going in another lane and, like, eating away at our
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, we won. Keep playing.
There was this one map I was hesitant on choosing because I already know it's really easy to cheese on and get at a high level, but I thought it would make it at least somewhat interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But, you have ever had that, name a game experience that you'll always be able to remember when someone asks you, yo, name your most memorable game experience. I could have condensed that question a lot.
Oh, definitely Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo GameCube. As I said, that was my game growing up. And,
like,
well,
when you think
that was my console growing up.
What is the memory you have playing that game? Like, out of all playing the game, what sticks out to you most?
Honestly, and it's really random, it just, the first thing that pops up into my head, probably because I had to go through it so many times whenever I restarted, was waking up the guy with the ukuku. Because for some reason, I could never quite manage to remember just when he needed to be woken up.
Right.
So that's mostly the moment for me.
Interesting.
I did want to mention back to the SCP Foundation.
Right.
That I first, realized how in depth it was when I watched a video by Slapped Ham. He
Mhm.
did like top 10 SCP creatures that, well, it was top 10 creatures the SCP would want if they existed. And, he did like this really interesting video on like, like mythological creatures and creatures from video games. And just, it was a video on all sorts of creatures that they would definitely want,
Mhm.
which I found interesting. But what I found most interesting, because I think it was in a creepypasta I was listening to, is that, and I looked into it further, something that people actually use is that, how many fake videos of like supernatural occurrences and whatnot are out there?
Yeah.
Well, there's like a massive theory that it's actually the government makes a lot of, or well, not the government, but maybe an organization or something makes a lot of those to cover the real ones.
I was gonna make a
Yes.
SCP-001 proposal where the SCP wiki, if you read a SCP on there, you physically and can no longer comprehend its presence. So if you read something, you won't be able to find it.
That's interesting.
But someone said it was a bit similar to one that was already made, but they like I'm in a SCP YouTubers Discord server. Really, really blunt guy. Let me tell you, like, he's not mean by any means, but he'll tell you something sucks straight up with no empathy.
That's beautiful, honestly.
That guy's not getting a girlfriend for a while. Stress make me look fat. It makes you look 80 pounds over obese. No mercy. Oh my gosh, that guy's great. But
that question is always it's just steer clear. It's like, does this dress make me look fat? We need to be there by 5, right?
Hold up, let me mess with my mouse sensitivity. It's being a little wonky. There we go. That's better. Oof. I probably should have not
We
turned
down.
off my mouse on towers that are dependent on my mouse.
Rip.
Well, that's a rip right there. Okay, let's go back to co-op. Create private match. And we're gonna go with... Let's go easy peasy.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be boom again because I don't think anyone's gonna stream sniper passcode. Anyone who's watching this post live stream, don't you dare try to join it. Oh wait.
You never know when we'd randomly be playing this game, and I could see that happening. Just like, what do you mean? I'm playing with you right now. No, that is not me.
We're gonna be quite honest. We're not even using the password we normally use. We're a little bit paranoid on levels that should be considered us insane.
Me? Paranoid? Never. Adjust tape over webcam.
Gosh dang. One thing that's really interesting. Let me pull up a little. You want to know argument in a subject that will make any epic gamer, any gamer absolutely furious is the whole video games cause violence. Now, I always like arguing with Christians on that matter, because if you bring up the subject matter of the Bible, like I always like to tell them, if the Bible was the game, it would be rated adults only. So, just because our video games aren't the Bible, I guess that makes us violent, but yet, we can have King David over here literally going around, was ordered to circumcise 100 men to gain the trust for the king's daughter for him to marry her. Ends up doing 200 just because he felt like it.
It's like, you, bring thy dick here.
I can only imagine him going through towns with a dagger, just going crazy. I know that we're probably getting the details of the whole story a bit wrong, but still, like, if that was in a video game, that would be adults only for sure. Oh my gosh. I've seen that scene depicted full on in a children's Bible book. I'm not even joking.
Oh yeah, I saw this. not that long ago. Yeah.
And it's like,
I think it's been spread around the internet a little bit.
It's like, it's okay because it's the Bible, but it's not okay because it's digital. No, not at all. Stop, please. It's hypocritical at best. Oh my goodness gracious. I knew this. I was in college and my coworker was telling me about the time his brother got kicked out of he got discharged from the military for dipping his bullets in pig blood because and the people he was fighting in their religion, if they ate pork, it was a sin. So he was sending them to hell.
Evilest thing I can ever imagine. God.
Oh my goodness gracious. Like, at the same time, I don't think that's a reason to discharge somebody, but I probably would have done it just to be safe. Yeah, this guy's a bit loony.
One of my favorite things to poke at with Christians, since if the sun was made on the third day, how did 3 days pass?
Just to clarify, we are both Christians. I feel like it's better as a constructive form we say that, so, like, we're not coming from hate or misunderstanding, but just, we're people who criticize it a lot. So, anyone who's listening to this, bashing and hating, no, this is straight from this criticism, but, the thing about Genesis is, I have so many Christians who think every word for word in our today's version of the Genesis Bible is, oh, it's true. Even though some of it contradicts itself, it makes no sense. It's true because it's true. But here's the thing we all gotta understand. This thing has been translated not only from a very primitive language that is like has so many fewer words to explain things than our language. It is
also a dead language that had to be, uncoded in order to figure out how to read it.
And not only that, but English-wise has been translated a dozen times. It's not gonna come out the best of sense in today's version. We're not saying Genesis is full of lies. We're saying Genesis has been translated. You ever tried translating a sentence from Japanese to English back over and over? You'll get some crazy stuff.
Yep.
Let me tell you, but we all need to take that Genesis is true. We just don't really we're not really understanding it how it probably was written.
Also, you gotta remember, only, I believe, no, take me 100% of this, but I believe most of the Bible was written by Hebrew men that studied the culture and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever seen a man write, he doesn't really go into detail.
That too.
It's just like, this happened, and yeah, no, it's good.
That's a really good point. I was just about to say, Genesis isn't really literal, like, built in 3 days, and the sun was around, blah, blah, blah. It was more of a, this is what happened in a nutshell. It was simplified. Which even hurts it even more in its already over-translated state.
Yeah. But the best thing about that is whenever you ask like a hardcore Christian that question, they have the most ridiculous answers.
Because
That
they're overthinking.
obviously not. They're like, well, God's all powerful, so he can decide what is and what isn't.
But man wrote that page, not God.
Yeah.
It is the word of God, and I know God written through us, but it's fun to mess
And
with them.
I think sometime around like the carrying of the ark that it was sanctified as the word of God by God or something like that.
Right.
But still, it's not like God was going to send down like a heavenly host to be like, hello, we are your quality assurance team. So
You want to know what really bothers me though is like atheists who argue with you not because they actually want to see your views or opinions, just to argue with you.
oh, those are awful fun.
I never like they just keep questioning no matter how many questions you keep answering. And
Well, it's like small children, children ask, why does it rain? Well, when you're in the kitchen and you're boiling water and the steam that rises, that's actually little droplets of water rising into the air. And they're like, well, why does the droplets of water rise into the air? And you keep going, except that most parents don't, and they just say because. It's like you keep going until you don't know, and the kid's still asking why.
You get a full understanding of the subject matter. You don't know why they're asking why.
You don't know the answer to their questions, which somebody does, but you don't.
That's why we have Google, kids.
Wouldn't you just Google it already? But why don't you know?
I'm putting your butt in school every day, mister. You should be coming with me. How this is in the air.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
I like pretty much 90% of people I know are definitely not. And then you got 90% of my friends who are, but act like they aren't. Daniel, no.
Who? I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, let's get a cannon.
Please. Oh, buddy. You remember that one time?
Last round we had like 3 to 4 to 5 of them, just like all of the maps, just destroying everything.
I think I remember I just ended up deleting the majority of my characters and just simply went with planes.
And like, we wanted to end the round, so we made a monkey temple thinking that would kill us, but it was actually kicking butt.
We ended up having like 5 monkey temples, and we're like, all right, we basically just have to hit play until we're dead.
You'll eventually hit that point. That's the thing about survival games is like, there's no end. It's just getting better and better and better and better. But like, I don't see how that gameplay loop feeds on our minds as much as it does. I'm a victim of it. I own it. Like, I used to like really play Call of Duty Zombies all the time. Like, it was unhealthy, and I had to make myself uninstall the game because any game that makes me stay up past my bedtime is gonna get me back to going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I can't have that. But
I don't know. I used to be that way with Minecraft, but here recently, once I've started working, I've figured that I can stay up till like 3 if it's not a work night. But if it's a work night, I instantly go to bed at around midnight.
Yeah, like you start to get that.
Now, does that mean I'm not going to finish that hour-long episode on Netflix? Heck yeah, I am. But I am at least in bed.
It's like, my scheduling has always been horrible. Especially when I'm not working, I'll always go to bed an hour later than the last night.
Right.
Like, getting into a work-sleep schedule when I first started working, and it was whacked up beforehand.
You didn't quite understand it.
Oh my, no, like, dude, I saw dead people, man.
Now I just see dumb people.
My mind was in a state of just absolute, like, why am I alive? Why am I doing this? And, like, I somehow did it. I somehow transferred into a healthy sleep schedule that I'm now currently in that I'm probably going to destroy in 5 days.
It's funny because, like, when I was still in school and whatnot, I would be playing a game that had NPCs in it, and I'd be like, people do not behave like this in real life. Right. They don't just mosey on dead-eyed all day. But you watch some people, and you're just like, holy crap, that is like the definition of an NPC. They are not doing anything.
I remember reading this book. It was very comedic in its display of culture around it. Like, and the main character would always depict everyone in the morning time as a horde of zombies. Like, actually depict them in pictures. And I thought it was... I'm like, yeah, that ain't fiction. That's non-fiction right there.
Whoever wrote that, spot on, accurate. I agree. I am part of that crowd. Because, I don't know, technically I work the night shift, but I get off at like 10, so it's not really the night shift.
Is your place hiring for part-time by any chance?
My place is always hiring, and I'm going to tell you not to go there. Because it is the most dead end of dead ends. Pretty much the pay that they hire you at in this position they hire you at is probably going to be the pay and position you will have in 3 years with the same company.
Ooh. We'll get you a better job.
For company's sake, I won't mention them in the stream. Like, by name.
Yeah.
But edibles, 5 squander.
I got
you. Yeah. But the last place I worked, I'd say there's good advancement there. You can become a store manager in under a year, but the problem is with that company is that store management, even though you do get a considerable pay raise, it's not actually the same thing as being a store manager. Basically, what you're doing is you have the same job, but you're now just, doing orders and everything and assigning hours, and basically your job becomes more clerical.
Got it.
Here we go, boys.
No.
We got the Spectre.
No.
No. I love that thing.
Dude,
ooh, that's nice.
Has a fast recharge rate as well. So I pretty much did that to flex.
My boy be flexing.
Be flexing with them soft blades. Man.
Sabra hummus.
I cannot recommend BioShock Infinite enough. Oh my goodness gracious. After all these years, I finally played it. I've never thoroughly enjoyed a game that much in years. More like...
Yeah, I got to say, I had it installed because I was asking people, if I'm going to start up a Let's Play on my channel, what do you want me to play? Because I was just going to do Minecraft because, that's what I'm good at. But they were saying just to play through the BioShock series. And so I own the BioShock series, so I downloaded it and started to play it. And with most games, I have this problem that whenever I start a game, I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is fun. Or I could play a game I already know how to play.
Right.
So that was my problem. But with BioShock, it was really easy to immerse yourself in it.
Right.
The controls made sense. The story wasn't hard to follow.
Did you start with BioShock 1 or did you play Infinite?
I believe I played. I'm currently playing BioShock Remastered, so the first one, but
Yeah.
Graphics haven't overhauled and everything.
Right. Are you currently are you actually going back to it?
A couple times. You see, I haven't been playing video games as much unless I'm kind of talking to somebody.
Right.
So I find myself playing a lot of those shooters.
Yeah.
So, CS:GO, Tom Clancy, Rainbow Six.
I've been really the only multiplayer games I've been playing is Kylie and David because they breathe Minecraft.
Oh.
At the moment. And
I mean, you can't really blame them.
Yeah, but they're pretty much all I've been. Pretty much the only two people I've been hanging out with, and then that's you, which is the third person. I haven't been really doing anything other than that, other than absorbing myself in a bunch of single player experiences.
It might also just be because I tend to go through stages of Minecraft. Where I'll play just regular survival, then I'll play modded survival, then I'll play mainly creative to test out redstone elements. And then occasionally, which I think I'm in the loop right now, is all that I'll do with Minecraft is just watch YouTubers play it.
I've gone through that a lot myself. I'm currently making a mod pack focused on, Rust, the survival game. Daniel?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really focusing on a mod pack that gives that experience as much as possible.
Yeah, I can feel that.
And I've got it going pretty well, but, I'm kind of hit the stage where I'm like, okay, I'm running out of ideas what to add to this, but I know I need to add a bit more.
Well, what I like to do, and it's what I was doing when I was working on, I was trying to make a mod pack that had a good balance between light magic. I didn't want any magic mods that you had to get real in depth with or had to explore real hard, like Twilight Forest.
Right.
But so light magic, so mystical agriculture, chickens, that kind of magic.
Right.
And kind of middle-aged or medieval tones to it. So I had Minecraft Comes Alive and a couple other ones. Medieval Warfare. But I'm having some problems with that one because for me, it's too focused on the warfare, and no matter what I do with the config files, I can't find a good balance with it. But it's got a lot that I would want to keep in.
Right. I've come with a couple issues like that. I got the Bioshock mod. That was pretty much what got me to make a mod pack in the first place. I just built off it there, and I'm like, oh, hey, this feels like Rust. I should make it feel like more like Rust. But my problem I went into is it's more of like you give these items to yourself in creative because the mod creator kind of abandoned the mod all the way back in 1.7.10.
Right.
So I've been trying to I've been trying to learn how to make a custom loot table with loot bags, but that's been a whole process on its own because I can't find any tutorials anywhere on the internet on it.
I think it's fairly easy. It's one of the config files.
It gave me the file to do it. Like, you do a little, it'll give you a file in the dump file. I just don't know where I need to go in to replace it.
Right. It's probably a config file.
Alright,
like within the config folder. But what you should try and do is just go in and delete everything except for one. And then just keep modifying that one item until you can test it. And every time you open a loot bag, you're getting some amount of that item.
Right.
Or some random amount of that item.
I think we're
and then you can start adding more.
I think we're getting a little bit too bro time in our conversations and not really something someone can listen in and enjoy.
What are you talking about?
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but like, it's nagging at me like we should probably stop talking like this.
No, I got you.
Okay, but one thing okay, let's have a bit of story time here. Did I ever tell you the whole crap that's been going on with my ex?
Oh no. I don't know if you've told me all of it, but remember names.
The one that dumped me for a furry?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're on the right track. So everything. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning here. So me and her dated, my first real relationship, first real love. I don't really know if I should say that because I was really narcissistic back then, but you know, she dumped me for a furry, and then she got engaged with that furry. Furry dumped her a week before their wedding. And
Oof.
This is when the downward spiral of this girl goes way downhill. So, I'm, like, she starts hitting me up. We almost get back into a relationship, but something in my gut, Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, telling me, don't do it! And I looked at him and said, okay. And I told her, I'm just not doing it. And she's like, oh, okay. How could you? Pretty much. And
right.
I live in life. It's 6 months. All of a sudden, she I'm gonna be honest. She has high-functioning autism. Like, it's barely noticeable, and her mom literally told me 7 months into dating her, and I'm like, oh, really? Dang! But she has, like, basically, she can read something, like, the sky is red, and she would read it as the sky is reading a book instead of it being a color. It's that low. But because of that, issues arise. So, I get news that she's always lived with her parents because, you know, she's got that little mind thing going on, and she just leaves their house without warning. Everything's gone. They're freaking out. Comes to find out she moved in with her friend, Emily. And everything's going fine there, and all of a sudden, I hear that she has ran away from there, and she's going to Texas to get married to a 40-year-old man.
You know, as you logically do.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I look into this, and so here's what happens. So she moves in with her roommate, and she is pretty much criticizing these people and just making bullcrap behind their back. And they keep, like, they're forgiving, they're like, it's whatever, it's like, she's going through this stuff, so it's just part of the process. They're being forgiving, and then she accuses her stepfather of molesting and raping her. We've gone downhill. And none of this was true. She gave 3 different stories to the cops. And this is getting even worse. They find out that she's been talking to this 40-year-old man for like the past 3 months and giving this sob story to him that she's been abused, just making a whole bunch of lies. I hit her up saying, I'm trying to fish, because everyone thinks this guy is sex trafficking or kidnapped. It's suspicious. Like, who wouldn't guess? And
Right.
I'm trying to hook her up for him to get a background check so people will stop fighting her on this because they won't be able to say anything if he's clean. She wouldn't do that. She blocked me. She's completely deluded. And I was just like, alright, I tried. She moves to Texas. Guy turns out to be actually just a sugar daddy. Like, not, like, anything bad or dangerous. She's fine. And
Right.
she just got married the 3rd day she was with him. And she's already cheating on him.
What?
I can't make this crap up.
I don't think you could.
And, like, she's been sexting with this guy, and, oh my, I can't make this up. And she blamed it on her old roommate. Guy contacts her, being like, I just want the truth, and she's like, nope, I never did any of that. She's not only burned all of her connections back home, but is now burning her only and last connection to her quote-unquote husband. I'm just,
Yeah, you get some of those.
Oh my goodness gracious, I didn't think in a million years this would be possible, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's...
Rocket like a hurricane.
But like that's what that was a heavy thing pressing on me because I really thought her life was in jeopardy, and that kept me on my last week of work. But at least she's safe. But she's being stupid as always, so I don't really. I can't believe this is just I'm speechless on this matter, man. It cracks me up though.
At this point, you're just like, I'm out.
I was tempted to post this as a green text on 4chan, but I thought people would thought it was like fake because it just sounded so stupid. But dude, that's like people are like I didn't think people could be this crazy. I only thought this was something you only heard in stories, like I'm saying right now. But how could someone be like what?
Well, I mean, a lot of fiction is based on true stories.
True. But, like, dude, this has just got me at, like, a whole other level.
Did you know that the entire Hunger Games trilogy is based on the story of the Minotaur and the Labyrinth?
I thought it was based off of Battle Royale, the Japanese movie, not the game.
I mean, maybe it took inspiration from both, but it ties back to the Labyrinth as well.
Oh, I got you. I didn't know that. Okay, let's get some monkey farms so I can boost your investment of literal flying Grim Reapers. These are the mechanical persona of Grim Reapers right here, ladies and gentlemen. These things, like... I was tempted to make balloon tower to... Oh, you go ahead.
I'm actually working on getting the balloon liquefier for my blue monkey.
He's just kind of covered between those 3 towers there. You kind of forget he exists.
Yeah. He's doing his job, you know.
Barely.
I don't know how well he's doing his job, but he's there doing it.
He's doing something.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Hello. You are on the air just before you say anything.
Did you eat dinner?
No, I didn't.
You want a burger?
I would love a burger. Good eat on stream and people are gonna call me fatties.
Yeah, well,
I'm watching you people.
I already am a fatty.
What do you say a good
There we go.
closing?
I got a balloon.
You want to do 10:30, 11, 11:30?
Whatever works for you.
All right. You want to do 11:30? Sounds good to me.
I can go for 11:30. I may stop at 11 though. Just depends on how far our conversations go.
It's not that I think our conversations will go dry, but it's... I don't want people to look at these videos and see like 4 hours of just 2 white men talking in a wall of balloons gameplays in the background, so like...
2 guys sitting 5 feet apart from a hot tub because they're not gay.
Oh, I forget. They have to loop around. I always get scared when they get that far because I'm like, oh, here it comes.
It's the final countdown. Can I also remind that we haven't lost a single heart?
Oh, dang.
That's how easy this map is.
Yeah.
We didn't place a pool or anything either. Just like,
Just got the mechanized personas of the Grim Reaper in the sky. How you guys doing? Death and destruction!
But yeah, I did want to take a pause for you. Shout out to our 2 people listening in that you can always just, if there's ever anything you want to chat about, throw it up there in the comments. We'll give it our best shot.
Do you have the
I mean, if you say giraffe, I do.
Yeah, it's literally just us talking.
Yeah, I know.
It's my phone. That's the other viewer. But hey, it's gonna be a bit of a grind. We gotta get, like... YouTube's gotta know what we're doing before...
So wait, do you have it pulled up on your computer and on your phone?
Yeah, I have the phone for live.
Oh.
Chat.
Rip.
But don't worry. Podcast, like, I've seen people live stream these, and then they usually do a lot better in post-production. Well, like, when the video's up, not necessarily during the live stream.
No, yeah, like, I don't really care if we get views anyway, because you know that we're going to end up playing this game and talking about these things regardless, yeah. So well, it doesn't really matter if anybody's watching.
Like we care, man.
We're here for the money. Give us your views. Please. Hit that like button and that unsubscribe button. And leave a real nasty comment. I can't stress enough. I need you to bear with me that there is something seriously wrong. Okay? Bear with me.
Okay.
And if there's ever a way for me to communicate how in trouble I am, I just want you to bear with me.
Hello?
Okay, I don't think the bear. I don't think the bear caught on to what I was saying. Nope, the bear's mad.
I get it.
All right, about to get my third Spectre.
Ooh, nice.
Spectre on.
I'm about to get my second fully upgraded monkey farm.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
Giggity, giggity,
girl,
giggity.
I had a game where I had two fully upgraded monkey farms with a with fully upgraded cannon.
I miss the whole instant wet meme. You know what I'm talking about?
No, you have to refresh me on that.
It was years ago. It's like some guy would just walk up to it was like Rage Comics style. And some guy would just walk up to a girl and just be like, I'm a bassist in a band. And then it would like the screenshot of just like her underwear and it's like instant wet,
Ah, I got you. I never saw that.
Or fair enough.
So I'm guessing the joke is you would put like stuff that
Yeah,
usually wouldn't.
Yeah, it was like, I'm a hardcore PC programmer. It's like instant.
Yeah. I'm an Indian tech scammer. I mean, IT tech scammer.
Hello, this is Peggy.
Dude, I was at college one time, and so my employer, like, his background was he worked at a car dealership. And his boss is pretty well known. So somebody called him, like this Indian tech scammer called him and said, hello, and says the name of the guy he works for. And he's like, oh no, you're not, I work for him, blah, blah, blah. And the Indian guy, he's just lost all faith. He just immediately starts resorting to FUs. So all we hear from his phone is an Indian man yelling, F you. It's like, whole classroom lost it. It was great.
Beautiful. I think I had seen a clip on somewhere. Can't remember, of something like that. I see you giving me money.
Got these monkey farms, man. I'm getting ridiculous amounts.
I could probably upgrade my other plane now. I decided to maybe try out some Gattlers. No.
It's pretty good if you got a attention span for them. Don't take your mouse off screen. It'll be the end of you.
This might have been a bad idea since late game, you don't actually know where the balloons are. You just know that you're doing damage. So yeah. I'm just going to sell those real quick.
We're going to pretend that didn't happen there.
Right. And instead, I'm just going to... What do you mean I can't fit one there? I can totally fit them there. Oh, hold on. Whenever you're like completely in red, but then you get that magic gray circle. That's like you can put it here for sure. I have one somewhere on this middle crate that I have everything else on that's not an airplane.
Right. Okay. We've hit the part of the podcast where August is...
August's brain shuts completely down.
Yep. We got this. It's only 10 o'clock.
We have now entered the Twilight Zone.
I only seen a couple episodes of the Twilight Zone.
I saw this really creepy one time. It was like, you could build a grandma.
What?
Yeah. It's like an android that was a grandma, and she would do grandma type stuff. I don't know.
Yo, Mom,
weird.
You down for having another grandma in the house?
And I think what happened was that these kids had just lost their grandparent. And so they went into this store to where you could build these grandmas.
Right.
And, they were selecting out the eye color and like the hair color and all that stuff and whatnot. They just had like a whole bunch of fake body parts, like prosthetics that these kids were just picking out for the grandma. And, they get the grandma built and she comes and lives with them. And as they age, she doesn't, But I think something starts to happen to where this AI grandma actually gets like possessed by the spirit of their actual grandma, and none of them notice. But there's like these minor details throughout the episode that show it.
Oh.
I gotta find that. I don't even know where I would.
Sort of thing, or like, oh, what's up? I'm just spinning your robot the entire time. Hope you don't mind.
Yeah, the whole ghost in the machine concept.
The game known as Five Nights at Freddy thought it was a niche little idea and then blew the frick up because children are quite the species, let me tell you. What's the most cringiest thing you've ever seen of, like, pulp culture and children?
Honestly, probably. And I know it's more topical than anything, but just Fortnite, which I let me tell you how I feel about Fortnite. I miss it because you could go into like a game of CS:GO or a game of Rainbow Six Siege or Ring of Elysium, and there would be absolutely zero like 5-year-olds in the game
Because they're all in Fortnite.
because they're all playing Fortnite. And I'm like, why do people hate this game? Why do people hate it? It's literally like a playpen for the kids while the adults can go off and like have a good time.
I never thought of it that way. Oh my gosh. My grasp on reality. Ugh. Well, dang, I guess Fortnite really has been doing good for the community. Whether you really thought about it.
Whether you knew it or not.
Fortnite has been making our gaming experience a lot better because, oh boy, let me tell you. I tried watching, like, the Minecraft videos I grew up with, and I can't, like, they're so boring now.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
I can't enjoy them, like, because back then it was revolutionary. Now it's, there's a really good, like, I was watching an Emperor Lemon video, and he was talking about how what may have been groundbreaking to you when it first came out is going to be old news to everyone currently living in this day. For example, like back in the old Western days, everyone was on horseback. But when the first car came out, it was revolutionary, and for everyone, it was future. Like, oh my gosh, like the coolest thing. But now we look at the first car, that thing's pathetic.
Yeah.
I don't believe there is ever something that is great in the standards of it's revolutionary, it's going to be this great forever. I think it's great at the time it was invented and carried out.
Oh. The internal combustion engine has kept its ground so far.
Well, we've improved it a bunch. Minecraft videos have kept its things so far, but that's because they've been improved upon, not really as a content standards, but more how much can we clickbait a child and get that cookie cutter
Mhm.
personality going? But it's just gonna keep evolutionizing. Especially as a child, anything can be entertaining.
Well,
Like, I'm glad I grew up with the type of content I watch because I was a big machinima fan. And hold up, I got a text message.
yeah, so for me, growing up anyways, like whenever I did watch YouTube, whenever it was in its waning stages,
Right.
it was always the animated stick figures.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I loved.
Animated. Oh my gosh! Like back in the golden era, I watched those a butt ton.
It's just, it was literally like each episode was the same thing.
Right.
You know, a couple stick figures were having a fight,
Or maybe,
basically. That
sometimes it was more. Sometimes it had a unique theme. Blah blah blah.
sometimes there was a reoccurring joke.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was one video, probably somewhere buried in YouTube, of just like random cuts between like vids of the stick figures, but there was always one reoccurring where this guy would be smashed by a giant orange. And I hilarious.
I remember.
To be honest, I'd probably still find that hilarious. I did not mature at all.
I don't think we change. I think we become more of ourselves every day. I stole that from House. You can sue me now.
Try and sue us now.
I swear, the low FPS is not the result of my PC. It's the result of the game engine.
Yep. No, I could probably open up another Ninja Kiwi and have the same game running, and it'd be running perfectly smooth. It's just this instance of the game trying to run through all the calculations.
Right, and also we're feeding for the server as well.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it doesn't look that bad on the stream.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna upgrade these spike traps. Okay, that seems to be every spike trap upgraded. I can feed you a bunch of money.
Oh boy.
Money.
I don't have much left to do.
We've hit
see,
stage.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I finally ran out of money. I got 3 specters out of that.
Oh my gosh. These monkey flies, man, I tell ya, they be overpowered as frick, bruh.
I just need 45,900 more dollars.
Oh no, there's a lot of balloons. I better place spikes on the ground.
Hold on. Let me initiate my sabotage supply lines ability. What does that even do? Sabotage the balloon supply line for 15 seconds. During the sabotage, all new balloons are crippled to half speed. Okay. Not that I think we're even getting any new balloons. I think it's all just the same old ones that need time too.
Just going in a loop.
Yeah. That's literally my only ability. I like to make it so that I don't have many abilities.
Message on the war economy.
Yeah.
Just keep.
Yeah, honestly.
Keep fighting, make more money. You know, there's a good message in this game, though, is there's a point where money becomes pointless to you as one person.
Well, as you can also see, the bigger the war, the better it is for the economy.
Yeah, as
That's how America got out of its Great Depression.
Yep, World War II.
Was World War II.
And they hopped on that real
That's
fast.
how Germany got out of its downcline from World War One through World War Two.
World War II was kind of needed as an economic, you know what I'm trying to say.
Economic jumpstart to the world. And there's one thing that needs to be clarified for a lot of people, is that there is no connection between World War II and the Holocaust. They happened at the same time, and one was effectively ended by the, but beyond that, they were two separate goals.
Right. Like, yeah, Holocaust definitely a very horrifying event, but yeah, it definitely separated from World War II.
Which I kind of feel like an asshole for saying that, but
well, it's not.
Yes,
you're not taking anything away from the Holocaust by saying that. It's just,
right.
It doesn't take away from anything that happened.
Yeah, it's just I'm dipping my toes.
I think we're gonna end it off at 10:30 mainly because for some reason my mind just decided, hey, let's feel tired now, and I don't feel like drinking coffee this late. I'll get sleep paralysis real hard.
Yeah, this sounds fun.
I mean, if you like horror games to a whole nother level. That sounds like someone would do that just for it. Just drinking like 8 monsters before they go to bed. I do it for the experience.
I actually I haven't in a long while, but my energy drink of choice is Monster.
Oh, I can't stand the taste of it, man. It's like
I only drink the ultra, what is it, ultra light or something? Because I tried, I think it's called Ultra Zero. I tried the Zero one, and it was just the worst.
Oof.
I was like, oh god, if this is it gave me like a bad headache.
Ooh.
I was like, God, if this is just the Zero version, then what does the regular version taste like?
Well,
I legitimately couldn't finish the can. I was just like, no, I'm throwing the rest of this away.
like, the thing about Monster's energy drinks that's always appealed to me is like the bajillion different flavors they got. You just get curious to try one because there's so many. But I've only drank 3 energy drinks in my entire life. And they were at camp. It was at a church camp. Let me tell you, I've never praised and worshipped so much in my entire life. My heart felt like it was on steroids. Like it was gonna blow up any minute. Oh my goodness gracious. Like...
Help me, Buddha.
I realized I had this unupgraded cannon in the bottom corner here, but I never noticed it due to all the crap that's happening on screen.
I can't. Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah.
Yep, there it
is. There is nothing else I can upgrade, and I don't have room to place anything else.
In the other corner. Just been here this entire time. Neglected.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 specters. And, oh, wait. I might be able... Oh, yeah. I'm going to buy Technological Terror.
Ooh, let's go.
And he's not even in range of me. Beautiful.
Technological terror. The internet for grandmas. Yep, I just lost any potential people that clicked on here because it was balloon tower defense.
The only other energy drink I've ever had was, I mean, if you don't count anything weaker than a mocha, like I had a Red Bull one time, and I kid you not, it tastes like somebody just peed in a can and decided to sell it.
Really? Ew.
Yeah. The flavor is that bad. It's like I now understand why people just chug these.
Just get it
it's
down.
Not because they want that boost of energy. It's just like, oh, well, it is for the boost of energy, but it's not for the flavor whatsoever.
Yeah, because
I mean,
you go ahead.
they have flavored ones, but I don't know what it's supposedly doing.
I heard Red Bull's like just complete sugar anyways. And then Monsters are caffeine, but you're still gonna get a heart attack either way. You know,
it's just with Red Bull being complete sugar, your heart can't process all that sugar anyway, so it ends up just going through your digestive tract and tearing it up.
Yeah, that ain't healthy for you. Like, why haven't we put an age limit on energy drinks?
Oh.
It seems like a very smart and responsible thing to do. I don't think anyone who's under the age of like 16 does not need that much energy. You got
well,
and by the time you are built up to that, 15, 16, I don't know.
I may drop it to 12 because a lot of like people that practice for like competitive skateboarding and whatnot, like Powerade just doesn't do it.
Right.
So they need that boost, but some people, the sheer amount that they consume at one point, yeah. Right. I'd agree, age limited, but that also gets us into like, are you conservative or progressive? Or
I don't even know
what is that good? Because it's just like an extreme. You gotta understand, if a person says that they're a conservative, it doesn't mean that they are like 100% never wanting to change them. Mm-hmm. So basically what that means, like conservative, they like the laws how it is, and they really should just stay the same. And some will go as far as to say the only law that we need is written in the Constitution. We shouldn't go any further than that.
Nice. All right.
And then, the other side is like, no, we need to expand and relate upon these things.
Right.
Because there's no way that when the Second Amendment was written about, the right to bear arms, there's no way that the writers of the Constitution were like, yeah, but what about shoulder-mounted RPGs?
Dude, did you hear?
What about
going completely gun-free? Like, we will not have anything illegal to own as a firearm in Missouri.
Complete Second Amendment acceptance, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be completely full gun control Not full gun control. No. That's the exact opposite. Full gun, Second Amendment. You know what I mean. I'm excited for this, mainly because there are guns I want to try out and shoot. Not necessarily own, but just, like, I can't do that if, like, they're illegal. And...
Well,
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, what we need to do sometime, and if I could live stream it, I definitely would, is go on a tank rental where they let you drive around a tank. And I think there's even a range where I don't know how it works, because obviously you're not going to trust some random civilian with a fully functioning tank. But there's an area where you can fire a shot or something. I imagine they have just like some barrels set up and that you can take a pot shot at them. But
live stream it. We can definitely record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really fun. Might want to bring a third person as cameraman. Probably have to pay them to watch us have fun in a tank.
I don't know where it is, but my guess is Russia.
Oh my gosh. Alright, we'll be wrapping it up in about 4 minutes here. We gotta do our signature, sell everything and put one Dark Monkey.
You should just go ahead and get a temple.
I'm trying to, but it's a bit...
Do you need money?
Yeah, I'm gonna need about 40,000.
There you go. That's all of my money.
Okay, we need 25,000 more. Thank you, though.
I'm not doing anything. There's literally nothing for me to spend anything on, and I have no room to place down anything. So, like, you're more than welcome to it.
Oh boy. You know, I never really, like, other than, like, I never see the point of, like, for example, I like to imagine myself, like, if I were, like, the head of $1 million company, what would be the point when, like, you can literally buy anything, but then I take into account, literally, these people have taken on the responsibilities themselves. Some of them, not all of them, but, like, they are pretty much what keeps money flowing.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a responsibility for that, and...
Because if they just sit there with their money and it keeps growing, then that's money that's not being used in the economy.
And not to mention, like, what's the point? Because you got any material possession you could ever want, and then you realize, then it finally hits you, it doesn't matter. So at this point, you're just fueling the economy for everyone else, so it's just all a big circle. And once I understood that, I stopped hating rich men as much as I used to, but...
And it's like, yeah, they got a 16-karat gold-plated toilet.
But, like...
How else are you going to expect the guys that sell 16-karat gold-plated toilets to make money?
Yeah, like... Just all, like... You don't buy possessions not because they matter, but it's just a big circle. Like, possessions, the only thing they should do at a maximum limit is to fuel a needed service or to keep you from getting bored. It should never go above. They should never matter more than that.
Well, then, you're going to get the people that are like, well, why don't they just donate their money? Well, look, that's not really the problem. Most of them donate, like, up to...
Yeah, I was about to say...
I'd say 3/4 of their income.
Yeah, most of them donate.
The thing is, I can give the poorest village in Africa $12 million. But you know what? It's useless to them because they have nowhere to spend that on.
Ooh, that's a really good point as well.
They can't just go out and buy bottled water. It's not that they don't have the money, it's they don't have the access to the resources.
No way to put it into that circular flow. Temple in 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Boom.
Hey. I can buy more specters.
Oof,
Or I could
took
buy
away
a
my
temple.
motive arms. That's a big oof right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, what will I ever do?
I think I'm actually going to put a a super monkey down on the 2 that cleared for me,
Nice.
and just get, if we can make it to another
Alright.
temple.
Looks like we're gonna have to close out here. Thank you
Or
for
nah.
definitely post stream because no one, literally like one person came in to check us out for a bit and left. I saw it go up and down. But thank you for listening to this post production all the way through. We highly appreciate it. We do this every week. Feel free to try and stop in live next time. You know, be there, be square. We hope.
Yeah, you can always hit up my channel down in the description. I have the complete and utter terror of the internet in my subscription.
And I have broken memes and broken dreams in my main channel. We hope you all have a beautiful night. Thanks for stopping by. It's your boys at Hallow Point Production, wishing you a
And the
blessed
Cracked
one.
Judgment.
Have a good one.
E.